How is this battery already dying? That makes no sense. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know why my boyfriend chooses to play Call of Duty while I'm filming. Like, I don't really know why. But I kind of like him. You know that moment when you put a ring on and you can get it over your knuckle, but you're like, I'm not going to be able to get that off? Isn't that a horrible feeling? I definitely just did that. So I don't really know what I'm going to call this yet, but it's something that I think is like, oh. All right, let me just throw that out of the way. It's something that I think is really important. And it's another reason that I started this channel. And I really just like am pushing this idea of conversing with each other. Because let's face it, 2020 was a hell of a year, okay, for the world. Now, I obviously, I live in Los Angeles, I live in America, so that's kind of like the viewpoint that I'm taking is as a person living in America and how divided we are politically and socially and just like in basically every single way. And I think one of the reasons for that is, because there are many, one of the reasons for that is the fact that we don't just sit down and do this enough with people who we disagree with, or just other people in general who might have not necessarily disagree with, but just who might like have different experiences and shed light on things in a way that we didn't expect. And I would hope that like social media and the internet and being able to reach all these people from across the world would lend itself to that a bit more. And that's kind of like, I don't know, that's just something that I want. That's something that I would like to facilitate a little bit more, I guess, with this channel. Because a lot of you have shared stories about like how your current situation or how you grew up, or I don't know, just whatever, just experiences that you've had that have really affected your confidence or how you view yourself or how you view other people or your just opinions in general. And that's true. I mean, the more you get to know someone, the more you know someone's story, it sheds a lot of light on why they believe what they believe, regardless of the topic. And that is part of what makes us different as people. So it's not like a bad thing. I don't think that every single person should have the exact same opinion on everything. It doesn't make any sense, you know? It doesn't make any sense for us to be that way. And I was just kind of thinking about like how I want to go into 2021, because 2020 just sucked so hard. And I don't know. I mean, I've just been thinking a lot about like, I'm probably going to harp on this a lot, but one of the things that's just like so important that people don't do enough is just talking like this about anything. I'm not talking, it doesn't just have to be like these heavy topics like religion or politics or whatever. It could be literally just like getting older or like, do you think Botox is poison? Like the shit that I'm bringing up, you know? Because the more that you discuss it and you bring it up with other people, it's not just the fact that like you need to hear an opposing opinion, because you may not hear an opposing opinion. The person that you're speaking to might have the same opinion as you, but they might present it in a different way. They might be able to add things that you hadn't thought of. One of the ways that you can like do this, very interesting. This is something that like my boyfriend talked about a lot when we first started dating, thought experiments. And I brought this up sort of, I think, when I did that video about Khloe Kardashian's over-edited photo. And it was about, like, taking yourself and putting yourself in that position. And there were a lot of people in the comments who definitely didn't do that. Like, I could just tell. They were very dismissive and they just, whatever, you know? It was basically the attitude of, like, well, she's a celebrity, so fuck her. And there were other people who, you know, it was clear that they stopped for a second and like put themselves in that position. And I think even like people kind of like try to give themselves a pass a lot of the time rather than really putting in the work and like thinking about it, really just like taking time to like put yourself in that position and actually think about how you would handle it. I think a lot of people are like, well, yeah, but if that was me, I would do it differently. And it's like, okay, but how do you know? You're not actually in that position. Like really think about it. Like put yourself in a position. Imagine you're completely like, or even imagine you're you, but you're in a completely different position. How would you view this thing? You have to kind of like remove yourself from it. And I think that's so important and not enough people do it. The cat's trying to escape the room right now. Hey, can you stop scratching the carpet, please? Ziva? Ziva? Ma'am? Excuse me, ma'am? What are you doing? Don't just look at me like that. I don't think it's something that people do. It's something, honestly, I think that you have to like work at, because it's true that wherever you're growing up or whoever you surround yourself with, it's very easy to just like be here and view the world through your lens. But what you have to understand, if you haven't really thought about it, is that like every single person out there, they're not just like a little pod, like, you know, in a video game. They're not like a, what do you call those things? I don't know, like a programmed character. I don't know. I don't play enough video games to be able to make that reference. I don't know why I'm trying. Like they're a human being. I remember having this thought when I was driving in the car with my parents, and I remember just like looking out the window and seeing someone else in the car. And I was thinking like, that person has absolutely no idea what I'm doing right now or what I'm going through or where I'm on my way to. And I have no idea who they are, what they're thinking right now, if they have brothers or sisters, or if their father just died, or if they're like on their way, I don't know, to like a job interview, whatever. And it was like this moment where I was like, every single, I don't know, just, it's one of those things where you're not thinking about it constantly, because obviously like you have your own life that you're worried about. But when you take a second to just like think about that, you're like, oh shit, there are other people who are literally like having their own experience on this earth. Like, it's not just me. I think that that's something that like people don't really stop and consider enough. It's very easy for us to do the black and white, good and bad. Well, fuck Chloe because she's a celebrity, so she shouldn't be editing, or like, who cares? Like, fuck her, I don't care about her. She shouldn't be editing her photos like that, and who cares if like what her personal image is of herself. And it's like, wow, that's such an easy response. Like, you're not really taking the time to think about like, what if I was all of a sudden catapulted into this fame with this gigantic family and scrutinized like this and could buy anything in the world? All of those things, you know, like they're good and bad, obviously. But you have to consider all of them, the good and the bad. It's not just like, well, this person has all the money in the world and they're a celebrity, so like, fuck them. Like, they have it so easy. Basically what I'm trying to say is that for 2021, I personally, and I think I've been doing this, but I'm going to try to do it even more, is to really consider the opposite side of something. Like, if I don't like something, to really consider the opposite side of it. This is something that I've learned a great deal about from my boyfriend, who is excellent at arguing either side of a topic, which can get really annoying when we have, like, if I'm complaining about something and he brings up like the opposite side of it, and I'm just like, ugh. Like, can I just like bitch about this, please, and have you take my side? But what's nice about it is that like it forces you to look at the other side, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to understand it. Like, you can't just look at something and be like, well, this is what I think, so this is the way it is. That's not how it goes. Like, that's not the world. Everything is nuanced. Everything is so many shades of gray, way more than 50. It's not just black and white. Like, it's just not. And the simplest answers to things are just like, someone referred to it as, I may have mentioned this already. I can't remember, but someone referred to it as like easy thinking or simple thinking, where it's like you think about it for a second and you come up with like the easiest answer. Like, you're searching for the easiest answer, the yes or no, the black and white. But in reality, everything is incredibly nuanced. There are levels to everything. And the sad truth of it is that nothing is easy. And if something is presented to you as this like easy out or easy answer, it's probably not right. Does that make sense? I don't know. I guess I'm thinking in terms of, I'm thinking in terms of everything. It applies to everything. Because even these videos that I've been uploading about, because I was thinking like, oh, well, social problems or economic problems or political problems, just politics in general. But also like the comments that I've made about Botox. There's nuance to that. People use Botox for TMJ, for like certain disorders that like someone was talking about like, no, I can't remember what it was, but it was basically like a disorder with like incredibly tense muscles, and the only thing that helped, and it caused like a lot of pain, and the only thing that helped, it wasn't TMJ, but it was like related. Like, it wasn't up in here, but it was like something. Anyway. And then Botox was like basically the only thing that helped. So once again, it's like, I can say that, you know, you shouldn't inject yourself with these chemicals, but There are reasons that people use these for certain things, you know? Once again, nuance. There's no like cut and dry answer about anything. And I think that that's what people should take away from this and try to remind themselves of. If you tend to have like a more dismissive attitude towards things where it's like, well, that's not the way that I like it. Like, fuck them. They don't do it the way that I like it. You know? Does that make sense? I don't know. That's pretty much it. I just really want 2021 to be better. I think it will be, but like, honestly, I thought the 2020 was going to be great. So don't listen to me. All right, guys. Happy New Year. It's been great talking with you. Until next time. Great talk.